All right, welcome to another episode of Delayed Offside. I'm Adam.
I'm Ryan.
And we're back with another half-assed episode. And by what I mean by half-assed, it means we got half the cast. It's myself and Ryan. I haven't been here for
a while.
Weeks, you would say, probably. I haven't been able to make it. I apologize. And for that, I'm getting the silent treatment from Baron and Sanjay. Sanjay, I forget what he looks like. You remember that wanted poster you made up?
We need to bring it back.
That's how I feel about my relationship with Sanjay right now. I feel like that relationship needs to be put on a poster and posted throughout Saskatchewan and Alberta, quite possibly all of Canada, maybe even all of North America.
You know, wasn't our New Year's resolution that we would all appear on every episode in the new year in 2022? And already Baron and Sanjay have broken their New Year's resolutions.
Hey, I'm keeping mine. So it's tough. It was such a busy time of the year. And, at these points, like as a teacher, I was run down. I could feel that burnout start to kick in. And I know Baron was probably feeling the same way. Like it's just exhausting. So, and I don't know how it feels for you, for instance, who has like a 9-to-5 job, right? That like, I don't think you got the break really. You got like how many days there, Ryan?
Well, I actually took vacation time. So I did get 13 straight days off for the first time in 3 years. I took time off for holidays here. So that was nice. So unfortunately, I was dealing last episode, I was talking about the Pelon plague, and it hit again over the holidays here. My daughter ended up getting a kidney infection. And so, we were dealing with fever and sickness over the holidays, unfortunately. So it wasn't exactly the peaceful, relaxing holidays I was hoping for, but you make do. Plus the friggin' cold. Adam and I both live in Regina, Saskatchewan, and it got down to like minus 50 with wind chill here. Just nuts. So
ridiculous. You couldn't go outside.
We couldn't go outside. My dog was just depressed because we hadn't walked him for like a week. So kids were just jumping off the walls because they couldn't go to a playground or anything to run it all off. So it was an interesting holidays, but at the same time, it's Christmas. It's a magical time of the year. And so I can't complain too much.
That's it. And that's the awesome thing. And like the thing too, is like, I had my kids for a really good chunk of the holidays, and like just being able to not go outside, you could see everyone starting to get like stir crazy.
Yeah.
You kind of felt bad for them because, one kid would start acting up and you knew exactly why.
Yeah.
Bored. They wanted to do something, but you couldn't really do much. And that's why it was so nice that we got to go and watch like Spider-Man No Way Home with you.
Such a good movie. I loved it. I would say that's my number 3 superhero movie of all time. That one right there. Number three.
Yeah. It's up there. It was fantastic. And, they did such a great job of tying in the past as well.
Did huge fan service. I loved it. I loved every moment of it.
Yeah, it was Marvel's doing it right, man. Marvel's doing it right. And I got to say, I'm a huge fan of like Batman.
Yeah.
But like it's simply just that Batman series. The
Batman movies have done well. Yeah. DC, the first Wonder Woman movie was really good. But yeah, a lot of DC movies just seem to either be hit or miss.
Yeah, you know what I really want to see? And I know we're not talking hockey yet, but I really want to see, there's a comic that's come out, and it's the DC Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's a 6-episode, 6-comic series, and I believe they've done a part 2 as well. I haven't seen that part, but I absolutely loved the 6 comics. I'll lend them to you. I have them. Yeah, it's fantastic.
So you want to see that on the big screen?
I do. I would love
Batman versus Ninja Turtles.
Oh man, it'd be so good.
Oh man,
could you imagine with the old guys too? The old Ninja Turtles, like, hey yo, Leo.
And if it was like a Zack Snyder and Michael Bay team up directing movie, could you imagine all the slow motion in that movie?
Oh, God. Even the talking would be slow-mo. They'd be swinging on a swing, and it would be like, push me harder, April. Yeah. Yeah. They did create a movie of it, but it's an animated one.
Oh,
I had to shut it off because it was a bit gory for my kids. So, but I do have it.
it was an adult animated movie of Batman versus Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, man.
Okay, I gotta look for that now.
Yeah.
That intrigues me.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Because since when are Ninja Turtles graphic?
They've always been comics, man.
No, graphic, like adult. Like they've always been kid friendly. At least anything I've ever seen of the Ninja Turtles.
Well, I wonder about, I guess, kind of, well, kid friendly in what sense? They're still fighting and stuff.
Oh yeah, they're still fighting, but okay. But when you said violent, like I was, and your kids are, some of your kids are a bit older. I would figure like the Ninja Turtle cartoon violence would be okay. So I was thinking like, I don't know, Killing Joke type of action, adult type of animated movie or something like that.
But it's going to be insane. I'm really looking forward to the new Batman series.
Adam, just one thing, just because, so everyone, Adam's microphone is getting fixed, which is why he doesn't have his microphone right now. Just don't lean back, because when you lean back, you can't hear you. Yeah, you got to stay forward. When you're forward, the sound seems okay.
You know what? Read my lips and my mind.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll lean back every time I have to cough.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect. It's one of those.
You want me to edit that out?
Oh no. Actually, my whole like I've ordered a cord for my Yeti mic. It's coming in, and I should have it next week. But yeah, tons of fun.
Yeah, it sounds okay the way you are right now, but as soon as you started moving back, it was very hard to hear you, very faint. So there we go.
Let's jump into it here. Let's ditch the nostalgia and let's jump in to some other nostalgic events that happen yearly around this time of year. And it's the beautiful IIHF's World Junior Championships of hockey. You know, we're pumped up. Canada's in. Connor Bedard, we're watching.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his first hat trick.
4 goals, baby.
Unbelievable. Since Gretzky hasn't been seen since Gretzky. He's not going to be that good, but he's going to be damn good. And all of a sudden, games start getting forfeited too because of COVID. And you're starting to think as a fan how much of this is going to go on. Like they're going to end up forfeiting medal rounds, which is kind of crap when it comes to a competitive playoff. And then they just canceled it all.
Pulled the rug out from under them.
What are your thoughts, Pilon?
To be honest, I was pretty surprised they did it when they did, because what was it, 4 confirmed cases at that time amongst all the different teams and players and staff. And I think just because we're used to all of these other sports franchises or sports leagues pushing forward despite the numerous COVID confirmed cases, I thought the World Juniors would try to do the same. But they were very proactive and just decided to nix the whole thing before it got out of hand. I don't know if it was the right call or not. I guess there was 5 more confirmed cases after the fact. And the way that everything was set up, they weren't in as tight of a bubble as before. And so I think we would have seen it get out of hand. And so you're right, Adam, in that it probably just would have spread to the point where they had no one left and they would have had to cancel eventually anyways. I could definitely see that, the way this Omicron virus is just spreading everywhere. I could see that happening. So maybe it was the right call, but I was very surprised at the time, because I was just like, there's just 4 cases. Like, why did you need to even cancel? Why did you even need to postpone those games? Like, just sit the players out that have it and get everyone else tested. And if they come back negative, then play the games. But like I said, it could just be because I'm used to the NHL and NFL and NBA pushing forward with hundreds of confirmed cases. And so I just assumed the World Juniors would do the same, especially since it already started, right?
Right. And that, you raise a good point there, but at the same time, you can kind of see where they're coming from, right? How many teams are in each pool? How many teams are in each pool? 4?
I think it was for each pool. No, because isn't that here? I can look it up.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a number of teams in each pool. Remember that we're comparing it to leagues that have 32 teams, high amount of teams kind of all over North
5
America.
each pool. So 10 teams total.
We have 10 teams total. If we had an outbreak on 2 of those teams, it's not looking good.
Right. But it wasn't really an outbreak yet, right? Like, I mean, it was.
Right. And you put another very important word into that sentence.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's bound to happen. What happens if officials get sick? Right? Is there enough to cover that? You think the IIHF would have maybe put them all in one hotel, all these teams. Like, was that not the case?
Well, what was the case was they had, so before the previous tournament, it was a legit bubble, and each hotel was assigned to one team, I believe, and they booked the whole hotel for that one team. Wasn't the case this year, probably to save money. So there were multiple teams in the same hotel, and then it was also open to the public, right? And everyone's already heard about the Red Deer Red Wedding, and
not their fault.
It's not their fault. No, it'd be the organizers' fault who decide to not book the hotel exclusively for the teams. Yeah. So anyways, what was your initial question? I forget now.
So why wouldn't they just bubble it up virtually? I believe is where I was going with it.
Right. I don't know.
Why wouldn't they take those precautions? If they were serious about putting this tournament on in a pandemic, because let's not joke, like that's exactly what it is.
Why didn't they initially, Adam, or why didn't they after there were some confirmed cases?
Why didn't they initially?
Well, I think it's probably money.
And I think that's what it comes down to. I think you're absolutely right, Keelan.
Yeah, because obviously it's a lot more expensive to book. Well, number one, you'd have to book more hotels in order to have one hotel per team, if that's what they did before. I believe that's what I read. And then even more money to tell the hotels no one else is allowed in. Well, of course, you're going to pay more because there's all those empty rooms and empty conference rooms and everything else that gets booked out. You have to make up that money that they would lose. So that's very much more expensive. So yeah, money, big time money.
And it's tricky too, because it is a tournament that is really beloved in Canada. I know.
Huge.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it's pretty big in the States, especially the northern states. Like I know Buffalo had quite the showing when the World Juniors were held there as well. And, it's a great time to see the fantastic talent that's coming from all these different countries that are going to be entering the NHL in the next, 2 to 3 years. So in that regard, I think we really missed out as fans, but at the same time, this new variant, this Omicron.
I did the same thing. How do you pronounce it again?
Yeah. Which Autobot is it? Omicron.
To me, it always sounds like RoboCop, like Omnicorp.
Yeah, man. To me, it sounds like a Transformer. Oh my God, it's Omicron. He's coming to get us all. Yeah, and he's slashing tires. I don't know if that's the worst thing that can happen to a Transformer.
Hey. Scratch the paint job.
Oh my God. What make would it be? Would it be like a German-made vehicle, Japanese, US, maybe? Made out of Detroit, Michigan?
Well, it's got to be a Chinese make, right?
Oh my God.
Because everything's made in China now, right?
Yeah. This has gone off the rails. Off the rails. Unbelievable. And it's got to be like a small car because it's got like small man syndrome.
Oh my God.
Slash your tires, man. Now it's, yeah. Oh man, this whole episode's gone down the drain.
Oh man.
But Omicron is it's serious, and if we could, I'm just going to take a quick look at our. We haven't quite talked about it, but and it's not on our doc for as a talking point today, but I think it's a good way to lead into it. The NHL has postponed a number of games, and we kind of talked about that. Where do you see this NHL season going? Because in my head, I've been thinking a lot lately about, like, will they be able to fully complete an 82 game season for each team?
I think they will. I think they're, especially now that the Olympics are canceled, that's going to give them that extra time in February to make up some of the games. I know there was I can't remember which player it was, pushing or suggesting that maybe they extend the regular season by a couple of weeks to help with that as well, to not condense games into too short of a time. And, that could affect players' health and safety. So I think though the NHL is going to push forward with it. They lost a lot of revenue last year. They want to make up for that. Plus they have these new TV deals, and again, money talks, right? So, yeah. And the other thing too is, this variant is spreading like wildfire, but as far as what I've heard, it isn't as deadly. Like, you're not seeing as many hospitalizations from it. A lot of the hockey players, from what I've heard, have been asymptomatic. Whether that's, the virus itself is just not as deadly, or like this variant, or the fact that, like, a lot of the players are vaccinated and the vaccinations are doing what they're supposed to do, which is, probably the more accurate reason as to why this isn't, sending players to, hospitals or affecting their play long term. So as long as it doesn't get deadly, then I think they're going to push forward with it. They've already made some changes and having the taxi squads brought back, right? So they're going to make they're going to do whatever they can basically to keep this going. And as long as it's not getting to the point where it's endangering the players, then they're going to try to complete an 82 game season, I think.
Yeah, and you raise an interesting point with players being double vaccinated. Now, I know someone who has been double vaccinated that has gotten COVID. And I believe it's the new variant, and they had a hell of a time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They felt the congestion, the coughing, like the immense amount of coughing, and said it was awful. So
yeah, it won't be for everyone. It's not like there's not going to ever be hospitalizations again. But what is it, like 5 times less likely? I think you're 5 times less likely to die from it. I think it was just what I read. So, right. You have a better chance of, number one, not getting it, and then number two, not getting as severe symptoms, but it can still happen. Right. Yeah. So,
and then, we talked a little bit about this too, the Olympics being canceled. I don't think
that sucks.
Now that does suck, because we get to see our marquee players from Canada playing together, and maybe one of the greatest teams we're going to miss out on in our generation. With the likes of Sidney Crosby playing with Connor McDavid.
Yeah, that sucks. We're never going to get that.
Yeah, it does, and I can't even imagine what it would be like for a player. But then, you think about it, and if you get sick there.
Oh, I totally understand.
Yeah. A 5-week, what's the word I'm looking for?
Quarantine.
Exactly.
Yeah. They'd be stuck in a room for, 3 to 5 weeks, stuck in China in a room if they got COVID or, tested positive. Right. So, I totally understand. Understand the reason why they're not going. I get it. Still don't like it. Still sucks.
Oh yeah.
Last episode, I was saying how optimistic I was that it was seeming to be left up to the players, and it seemed like a lot of the players were still wishing to go. So I thought it was still going to happen. Things changed, unfortunately, and the NHL decided to nix it. That was too bad, but I totally get it. But it sucks, man. Like one of our first episodes this year, I was asked, what's the one thing you're most looking forward to this season? And I said Olympics. Because it's my favorite hockey. Like, I'm a diehard Leafs fan, I would prefer if if the Leaf season was canceled, but the Team Canada Olympics continued. Honestly,
it's because Team Canada has a better chance of winning a championship.
You're such a piece of shit. It's the nationalistic pride. It's once every 4 years, and it's something I look forward to once every 4. Like, it's just this build up, and it's the best on best. Like, Sanjay always keeps talking about this World Cup of hockey and how they can do that instead. It's not the same. It's not even close to the same. And it's your best on best. And like, as much as I love that blue and white Maple Leaf, I love the red and white more. And I really wanted to see McDavid and Crosby team up. Well, Crosby is, I mean, he's not in his prime anymore, but he's still good. I really wanted to see that, and it's not going to happen. And that's really disappointing. Like, we were denied it last Olympics, which would have been even better. And now we've been denied it this Olympics. Not the NHL's fault this time around, like last time, but still, it sucks. Very, very much sucks.
Yeah, I agree. Now, here's another like further dimension to this. Notice how I brought in Dimensions and Ninja Turtles. Dimensionax! Ninja Turtles! Sorry, I'll be like Krang. Yeah. Oh, I'm making. I can't. Oh my God. This is what happens when I host. This is what happens. It's completely off the rails.
That's all good, man.
But what happens then too? Like, I could foresee the Olympics being
pushed here. I've heard that people are saying that's a possibility. As of right now, it's not happening. I hope it happens. I'll be very happy. Then we get to see it next year. So
that's exactly it. And then it gives us the opportunity to maybe revisit that opportunity and to see those guys playing together.
Absolutely.
So one can only hope. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's about health and safety. And that's the most important thing, right? Especially when it comes down to entertainment and sports. Better to be.
Although it would suck. So I have a cousin who's a equipment manager in the, was it QMJHL? Is that the acronyms for the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, right? Yes. Okay. Yeah. So he's an equipment manager there. He's been the equipment manager for Team Canada at the World Juniors for the past 3 years. So he went to Edmonton. He was there, and then it got canceled on him. Now, because of what's happened with the NHL stepping out of the Olympics, he's gotten the call and he's getting to go to China to go to the Olympics. So if it all of a sudden ended up getting canned and pushed, that'd be 2 tournaments in a row, 2 big opportunities for him that would have gone taken away from him. So in that sense, I feel bad for him that if the Olympics got pushed. So, because of family, I guess I shouldn't hope for that, but the hockey fan in me, it's a real struggle because the hockey fan in me really wants to see the best on best. Right. So I've heard that they've already selected Team Canada's already selected their players and they're in China. I didn't see a list of names. Did you see that anywhere? No. Okay. Well, we'll look into it for next episode.
This is the first I've heard of it. So
yeah, it was just mentioned to me. So who knows? And it was my father, I think, who mentioned to me. So you just never know if that's accurate. But
yeah. Oh, Bobby.
Oh, Bobby.
Old Bobby. Hey, Bobby. How are you? I hope retirement's treating you well.
Not retired yet.
Oh, no?
No, he's still working part-time.
Oh.
Yeah. Semi-retired. Getting close.
Yeah. Speaking of getting trounced, not Bob, but the Olympics. Oh, Bob. We got to have Bob on sometime. I think that would make for a hell of an episode.
I could ask him, see if he'd come on. Oh, I was going to say, my cousin who I was just talking to after the Olympics, he's agreed to come on the show. So stay tuned for that interview after the Olympics. We get to hear about his experiences. Yeah,
that'd be deadly. That's awesome. But speaking of getting trounced, Ottawa just got trounced by the Leafs 6-0. They're 30th in the league. They're 30th in the league in points. People thought they'd be a lot more competitive this season. you know what, myself included, I didn't think they'd be 30th. I thought they'd be, late 20s. And their GM, Pierre Dorion, claimed their rebuild was over. What has happened? Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to take this one on a little bit right at the beginning.
Let's hear your thoughts on the Sens.
They've got a great young core. And I think they're coming off a year where they did do really well, and they pushed.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in that North Division year. They proved they could keep up with the big boys. They've got a great group. Stützle's got the sophomore slump at the beginning of the year. He really struggled to get any scoring going on. Norris has proven to be a good player. These guys just kind of popped out of nowhere, and teams didn't know how to adjust to them or how they played. And now there's that time of morphing and creating your game plan around these players that you've now got to see for a year. I think that what's happened is team planning has gotten a little bit more strategic around those players. Mm-hmm. And it's a little harder for them to produce, even though they are still a very skilled hockey team that does have a bright future in front of them. Also, their goaltending has been garbage.
Yeah. Honestly, I think you nailed every single one of the points I was going to make. So I don't know how much I can add to this, but you're right. Like, young team, sophomores, you nailed that. Not going to take people by surprise. Like, I think a lot of teams in the North Division last year thought they would just walk all over the Senators. And so they surprised those teams and kind of caught them off guard, and that wasn't going to happen this year. So people, teams going into the games with the Senators, they know that, if we don't take these guys seriously, they can steal the game from us. Yeah. And then you're right. Matt Murray has just been brutal. What a fall from grace. What a fall from grace. Starts his career with 2 Stanley Cups, and now he's been sent down to the AHL and then back up, and just does not have confidence.
You know what? Can we pause on that for a second, and let's talk about that second Stanley Cup. Who got them there?
Fleury started it, right? But Matt Murray ended up taking over at the end and won it for them.
Fleury stole around for them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Still doesn't change the fact he got 2 cups to start his career.
Right. Fleury's got 3. Just saying. And
I'm not saying Matt Murray's better than Marc-Andre Fleury.
I just love.
But what a start to your career. Like your very first year, you win a cup. Yeah. Second year, you win a cup, and you're a big part of those championship teams. You took them to the promised land, and what's happened?
Yeah, it's
nuts.
And I wonder if it's got to do with goaltender coaching systems they're playing under and what they're used to. He's come to a new team. He doesn't know how his team's going to play in front of him. But then again,
he wasn't playing great in Pittsburgh at the end there too, though.
That's exactly it, right? And there's a lot more veteran leadership there too, which
Pittsburgh's a playoff team every year.
Yeah.
So confidence is a huge thing, and when you lose it, it can be hard to get back.
Absolutely. And they've just got to learn to try to dig out of that and play through it and try to find a way to become a winning team. They've got the pieces in place, and I guess we'll see.
Yeah, they got to add more to that back end too. Like, they have Shabbat, they have Zub, but that the defense is still pretty rough.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they've got building pieces there for sure. Like, they've got the startings of a solid team. But Dorian coming out and saying our rebuild is over was ridiculous, and he ended up walking back on that statement not that long ago, because how could you say that? I don't think too many people. I think maybe people thought they could maybe squeak into a last wild card spot at the most. But coming out and saying that puts a lot of pressure on your players.
Yeah.
Right. There's no expectations last season for this team. And so that's easy to play with no expectations. You can just go in and play loose. All of a sudden, your GM saying you're a playoff team. Well, now you're gripping the stick a bit tighter, I think.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. So it's weird how a GM can say that the rebuild's over. You got such a young team, and you know, you need to build around them.
Yep.
Especially bringing in veteran leadership is we've seen has been very important, and it's helped with the Leafs. You know, with bringing in Patrick Marleau, Joe Thornton, Jason Spezza, Simmons. Like it's been important, even though they haven't won in the playoffs.
They haven't.
But I think it's helped add to that culture and help bring their stars to another level in terms of relaxing when playing.
You know, I think goaltending is a big thing too, because that first year after they drafted Matthews, like that team shouldn't have made the playoffs.
Right.
They really shouldn't have. They were outscored, outchanced, and outshot every game by quite a bit.
Right. And coached by that.
Freddie Anderson stood on his head for that team and got them to the playoffs.
Yep.
So, you know, if you have like a solid goaltender, that can make up for a lot of issues on the team. And
I agree.
Matt Murray's just not there for this team. And that's another issue that, you know, if they could have like a solid goaltender, that would do wonders in terms of getting them some wins.
Oh, if you get a save, it helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of the Leafs, they'll be taking on the Oilers on Wednesday. These two teams
Hopefully.
that have been the mirror opposite of each other, and the mirror opposite of each other. Interesting comment there. The Leafs started the season off slow, and fans were outraged, but now they're third in the league in points percentage. Meanwhile, the Oilers started the season on fire, but have been sputtering as of late and are clinging onto the first wild card spot. What are your thoughts on the two teams right now?
I think they're in the last wild card spot in the West there, bud.
I don't believe so. They're the first wild card. There was in our chat today.
Let's see, wild card.
Shared that.
I have to click wild card.
Here we go. No, they are. Yeah, you're right. They are.
Yeah, they're after Colorado, right?
They're tied with Colorado
with points, but yeah, Colorado has the higher point percentage.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So they are the last wild card spot.
They are.
Yeah.
Jeez, merciful Christ. This is why it's not for kids. Why it's not for kids?
So do you have a question?
Yes. What are your thoughts on the teams right now and predictions for the games?
All right.
For the game.
Thoughts on the teams. So I think like it was stated, the Oilers started red hot.
Yes.
And now they are struggling. And I don't think that Oilers team was as good as when they started. I think they were scoring at an unreal pace that was not possible to keep that going. I think at one point McDavid was on pace for like 250 points. And I said, that's not going to happen. He's going to slow down at some point. He's going to have games where he doesn't get some points, even if he gets chances. The goal is going to stop him.
The podcast is over. It's over.
So, you know, at the beginning, I was skeptical, and now they're doing quite poor. I don't think they're as bad as this.
I agree.
I think their offense is dried up, but they do have obviously some great firepower. I expect them to start scoring again more at 5-on-5. And I don't know your thoughts, Adam, but like I remember at the beginning of the season, we were really talking about how this team had better scoring depth than they ever had. And now everyone's talking about how they have no scoring depth.
And you know what? I don't particularly their scoring depth was struggling, but so was like all of their scoring. Period.
Now.
Right?
Yeah.
No, not now. You know, they just broke out of it. They won 2 when Tippett was out with the COVID protocol. 2 games behind the bench. Before that, they were on a 6-game losing streak where they couldn't get a bounce. You know, Draisaitl was missing wide open nets.
Yep.
Nugent Hopkins hit a post and the puck was like riding the line and stopped. Like, just not lucky. That being said, we're getting production from bottom 6 players, namely Ryan McLeod, Devin Shore. Who else was contributing the other day that I was like, holy smokes, we're getting some good. But we were getting secondary scoring, and it was nice to see, to not have McDavid's name up there or Draisaitl's name up there. You see your Yamamoto, who's been struggling. You see Ryan McLeod, when he played his brother, get his first multi-point game. Is a beautiful tip-in goal by, or a deflection top shelf by Devin Shore. Like, it's been okay. And Sevier, like, got a beautiful chance in front of the net, hit the post and hit the outside of the post again. Like, this team just snake bit. But another thing too is I think we need some more flexibility within coaching. And what's happening is Tippett's come back. They've lost these next two in overtime. So right now his record, since that 6-game losing skid, including that, is 2-6-2. Right, that's our last 10.
Yeah, it's not good.
That's not good. And they've got a winning record. Good. That's because they had an ungodly start to the season. I think they were 16-5 at one point.
Yeah.
And
they were first in the league, right?
Yeah. And at what point do you say, like, oh, what's happening here? Ken Holland has come out and said, like, no, this is a player thing. This is a player thing. This is a player thing. What point do they maybe need a new voice? And I hate saying fire the coach, because I think Tippett has been good for them, especially in terms of, like, they were before Tippett, they were a mess defensively. Didn't know what the hell was going on in their zone. Like, didn't seem to play defense as a team. And here they've been better. But, like, also big thing, we need a save.
Yes, that's the big thing, I think.
The big pile of bullshit that I've been seeing has been, and it's been a theme for years. The first goal is coming off one of the first two shots on goal against the Oilers. And then you're playing from a deficit for the rest of the game. Honest to God, I have a running joke with, like, a friend of mine. We'll text every game, and he'll be like, Mike Smith has to make this first save. Good. Koskinen needs to make the first save, and then we're good. And it's like it's almost in their heads, because then you see, like, the first shot on Koskinen against the Islanders the other day was bobbled, and he's searching for the damn puck, and you're like, stop. And finally, they score, but it's on the 8th shot. But you know what? It's an improvement.
It's good for them. Good for him. Yeah.
But then you get stints too, where the team can't get a shot on net for 15 minutes in the third period, begin the third period, which doesn't help the cause for a goaltender at all. They can't score. So I don't know, man. They're a mess right now to me. And, like, if you watch my last weigh-in, I'm hysterical a little in the end, and I'm more emotional than I normally am in those things, because it's starting to really get to me and piss me off. Well, because they're on the cusp.
Yeah. Like, you can see, like, Vancouver climbing the standings. Who else is, like, right behind you guys here? LA is right there behind you. Winnipeg.
The nice thing is it's a tight division. The bad thing is it's a tight division.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You fall out, you've got a really good chance of getting back in. That being said, there's 3 other teams that are right there with you.
Now, the other nice thing is, I mean, Edmonton actually has a higher point percentage than Anaheim. Just Anaheim's played 3 more games.
Yes.
So, you win a couple of the next few games, and you can bump Anaheim down, right? So, it's not all doom and gloom.
No.
But yeah, I think the big thing is goaltending. Like, Koskinen, you and I got into debate earlier in the year over Koskinen. At that time, I said he was providing average goaltending, but that was fine. Like, they were winning tons of games with that. It's dropped off. Like, I was looking at the stats. I can't wish I wrote them down. I didn't write them down, but the drop from October, November to December and now, in terms of just team save percentage, is huge. Like, that was the biggest drop amongst everything. Because the funny thing was, the reason I was looking at those stats, Barron was talking in our chat, and he was saying that the team defense has been terrible lately. And I can't remember why I looked at it, but I decided to take a look. So I looked at team defense from October, November compared to this past month, and it's actually gotten better in terms of expected goals against per 60, shots against per 60, scoring chances against. They have actually allowed less chances. The issue has been they're scoring less at 5-on-5. Their power play and penalty kill aren't doing as well. But then the big drop was goaltending.
And how the hell do you have a power play percentage when nothing's getting called on, like against you, or like, you're not getting any power plays? Like, and that brings up officiating, which has pissed me off immensely this year, because there have been like the other day, and it was in the Islanders game. They were playing the Islanders. Devin Shore skates by an official, gets high sticked in the face. No call. What the hell? Come on. Like, I honestly think there's something going on.
Yeah, you've been honestly bitching about officiating quite a bit this year, but I've been hearing a lot in your way, and it's more so than in other years. Just, you're not like one of those guys that talk about officiating every year.
No,
like this year in particular, I've noticed you've been really disturbed by what you're seeing with the officiating.
Oh, it's infuriating and disgusting.
Like, I know, like, in terms of the Leafs, like, Austin Matthews never gets anything called against him ever.
Yeah, and then you see Dubois like ragdolling him in the corner. What the hell?
Yeah,
like, that's absolute garbage, especially on a marquee player in the NHL that you want healthy and on the ice. What are you doing to protect him? What are you doing? And that's the same thing with McDavid, the garbage he puts up with, and then he starts throwing elbows, and like, what? And why not?
Yeah, or you have Jason Spezza like taking someone's head off because he's pissed off because they missed a call earlier, and
yeah, and then players get injured because they're starting to police
themselves.
Yeah, or the game's getting out of hand and guys are getting injured because of stupid plays.
Yeah,
right. You get a hit from behind being called one game on Connor McDavid, and then you get Sevier hit from behind blatantly, no call.
Yeah,
not even a hearing, not even a disciplinary fine, any sort of hearing for the dangerous hit. There's a game misconduct.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous. Anyways,
I feel better.
Oh my God, no! This gets me so amped up. Like, we're kind of off the rails here, but like,
yeah,
what do you anticipate for this Wednesday night hockey game?
Well, if it can, I'll just quickly touch. I know we talked a lot about Oilers there. Basically, overall, I think the Oilers will bounce back a bit. I don't think they're ever going to get to that how they were at the beginning of the season. I think that was kind of just a really hot streak and kind of unsustainable. But I could see them finishing the top three in their division.
Yeah.
I think they just need their goaltending to help them out a little bit, and then McDavid and Draisaitl will get hot again at some point, and they'll start scoring again in 5-on-5. So, in terms of the Leafs, our very first episode was, I think, called "Leafs Fans Need to Relax," because we had Leaf jerseys being thrown onto the ice over their start to the season. And I was saying at that time, like, look at all the chances they're getting and look at their shooting percentage. This team has never, it's not like this team doesn't have snipers. Like, if they were the Montreal Canadiens, I'd say, okay, that makes sense. They don't have anyone who could put the puck in the net. But this is the Toronto Maple Leafs. They have the Rocket Richard winner on this team. They can put the puck in the net. They're just unlucky right now. And that turned out to be true. Now they're red hot. They had an unbelievable December. I think they were like 15-2 or something like that. A stretch like that during the month. It was nuts. Yeah. They're top three in the league right now in terms of point percentage. They're Jack Campbell, I would say, is either 1 or 2 in terms of Vezina trophy in the Vezina trophy race. I'd say he's either 1 or 2. Him and Shesterkin are right there neck and neck for that trophy. He's having an unbelievable season. Matthews has refound his scoring touch after missing the start of the season, having that surgery. You could tell it took him a while to get back up to speed and get his shot back. It's back. He's catching up to Draisaitl in that Rocket Richard race. Team's looking good, but I'm going to caution that like the Oilers the opposite way, you have to take a look at this Leafs team and see that they do have some issues defensively that have kind of been hidden by Jack Campbell's amazing play. And if his goaltending comes down a little bit, you'll see the Leafs start to lose some games too. They need to tighten it up a bit. And the big issue is that Muzzin Hall combo. Justin Hall has just looked horrible this season.
All on defense, eh?
Yeah, very well, very good, Adam. Very punny, Adam.
Yeah, that's
punny
right.
Adam is here. So I'm not going to say like they're the best team in the league right now, because of that issue that they have on defense. If they can bring in a top 4 guy to replace Hall and Muzzin can play like Muzzin can, then I think I'm very confident with this team. This team is looking solid. Their third line, I love. They're exactly what this team needed, being able to be started always in the defensive zone and yet outscore their opponents somehow. The fourth line is providing offensive production and help, chipping in offensively. And then the top 2 lines are doing what the top 2 lines do. And they've done all this without like Marner for a great stretch of the season. So it's been great. But like I said, just like I'm saying, don't worry, Oiler fans, your team's better than what they're showing right now. I'm going to say Leaf fans, enjoy it, but at the same time, be cautious, because I think there's some defensive issues there that need to be addressed.
Yeah. So predictions for this game.
I think the Leafs overall are the better team. I think they're a deeper team. I think they're the better defensive team, even with that issue I said that they have, and they have the better goaltending. And they've had the Oilers number these past few seasons. Of course, any team can win any given night. At some point, the Oilers will beat the Leafs. But I don't know. I guess I'll go with the Leafs just because of their momentum right now as compared to the Oilers' momentum. And like I said, I think they're the better team.
Well, Necron.
Are you okay?
Oh man. My soul just disappeared because you didn't bless me. You know that myth, right?
I have not heard that myth.
Where was I? Yeah, that's where bless you.
That's where. Oh, I always say Gesundheit. So is that?
I think that's the same thing.
Is it just bless you in
I don't know.
German? Is that what Gesundheit is?
Good question.
Anywho's, what were you going to say about the game?
I think the Oilers do find a little bit of a scoring touch against the Maple Leafs. And I think we're going to see a high scoring affair going on. I think we're going to see like a, 5-4, 6-5 type.
Well, that's exactly the type of game the Oilers need.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's how they win games, right?
Exactly. So that's what I'm kind of anticipating. But at the same time, like they're in like a weird place. So
well, they don't have confidence right now, and the puck's not going their way.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing COVID. So let's see, they don't have Zach Kassian, and that's really it. Hey,
yeah,
and the Leafs are without Liljegren. That's it. Oh, so they're both fairly healthy. So that's good.
Oh no. And Ryan Nugent Hopkins is out with a undisclosed injury.
Oh,
day-to-day, and so is Mike Smith. It wasn't
right. I read that. That's right. Mike Smith is out again.
But I'm going to be completely honest. Mike Smith hasn't been since coming back.
Well, it's tough to come in cold like that, right? Yeah. Did he get any conditioning in the AHL, or did they just throw him into an NHL game?
Just threw him into an NHL game.
Yeah, that's probably not smart. Like they probably should have conditioned him first.
So yeah, and I can, speaking of goaltending, I could see at least our backup goaltender next year for sure being Stuart Skinner. He's been playing really well this year. I think that Mike Smith injury is what he needed in terms of experience. He played well, man. He kept them in games, even if they lost. He gave them a fighting chance and made some huge Stu Skinner type saves. So yeah,
I think goaltending is what the Oilers are going to target.
number one
by the trade deadline. I think
we need someone.
You hear Fleury's name thrown out there. You hear Price's name thrown out there.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It'd be nice if they could find a young goaltender, or if they could get someone like, in front of Stuart Skinner. That's
Georgiev.
What? No.
Well, you want a young goaltender.
No, we got Stu Skinner. He is a young goaltender.
Like Fleury would make sense to me. He's on what, a 1-year contract, isn't he? He has championship pedigree.
And he's good in the locker room.
Because Carey Price would be awesome, but he has a lot of years left on that contract. And it's a big, hefty contract, and he hasn't played yet. So, Fleury to me is the name to target if you're the Oilers. Because I think if you guys got a legit goaltender, not that Koskin's not legit, but he's just not an all-star goalie. He's not.
He played great last game. Absolutely fantastic. But when your team can't generate a shot in the first 15 minutes of a period, you're in trouble.
Right. And he's just not the kind of goalie who's going to steal you a lot of games. Like he's not that. At least his numbers haven't been. If you get like a Fleury, I know his numbers are bad, but I mean he's on a bad Chicago team. You bring in a Fleury and he can make some key saves and not give up the first shot or second shot in the game. That helps with the confidence, right? That can definitely turn a team around. So
with that, we would like to ask you to subscribe to our beautiful channel, Delayed Offside. Check out our highlight segments, which most of you did with our Bedard highlight segment, which is, it's been our best highlight segment, period.
Yeah, it's been great.
We've gotten over 200 views, which I'm very happy with those short clips, which are great, and I wish more people watch them. And then check out the Willie Weighs In. I feel like those are picking up some more pace, which has been nice. And then the main podcast, which has been deadly, and more people need to watch as well. I think our channel is doing well. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, join the conversation, tell your friends about it, share, subscribe, create another account, subscribe, and make another account, subscribe.
We would appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no, we appreciate the watches, and even if you can't make it through the whole episode, okay, we're fine there too. But we appreciate your viewage and your support, folks. And with that, I'm Adam.
I'm Ryan.
And this has been Delayed Offside.
See you next week.
Delayed.